Mercedes 2023 plans finally revealed. So we're going to be going through 3 big moves Mercedes are making for next season. So make sure you like this video, and if you want more Mercedes F1 content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. But let's get straight into the first move, because Lewis Hamilton teases new F1 plane as Brit prepares for Mercedes talks with Toto Wolff. Lewis Hamilton has hinted at a plan at Mercedes in a fresh sign that he could be open to pen a new deal with the Silver Arrows. 7-time world champion Hamilton contract is set to expire at the end of 2023 season, but reports suggest that he could be in line for an extension. Mercedes have endured a tough year, with neither Hamilton nor teammate George Russell able to boast of a race win in 2022. It is the first time that a 37-year-old has not recorded a win in a single season during his career, but Hamilton insists that his physical well-being is the best it's ever been and hinted at a plan with Mercedes. It could be an announcement of a new contract with Formula One icon, believed to be having discussions with Toto Wolff very soon. In terms of physical well-being, I feel the best I've physically ever been, because I've been focused on that as you get older, Hamilton told Formula1.com. Now, on top of all this, I'm generally loving driving, so I'm working on a plan. I can tell you what that is just yet, but there is no limit to what we can do, he added. I want to be creative and continue to do all the other things I get to do. I get to be myself with this team, and support for Mercedes has been incredible since day one. Together, it's not just about winning. We can be a part of many people in the world that are trying to change the world for the better, and that's what we can try and do together, as it's a huge brand that can have huge influence on the world. It has been rumored that Hamilton will extend his F1 career beyond 2023, with the Briton still hoping to win a record 8th world championship, which would probably cement him as the greatest driver ever to live. Now, on top of all this, the details of a potential agreement between Hamilton and Mercedes have been kept quiet, but the driver did insist in October that he plans on racing for much longer. I plan on staying longer. It's just not set in stone how long, Hamilton said ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix a month ago. I'm feeling good. I love what I'm doing. We have a lot of work to do and a lot to achieve, and I'm still not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. So I think this is honestly huge to not only plan and prepare for next season, but also for more seasons to come, because it seems that Lewis Hamilton as a driver is going to continue to stay and continue to absolutely dominate in Mercedes. I think he is going to be able to do it next season. Obviously with the car that they did experience with porpoising and all those issues, it did send them a little bit of a setback this season. However, I think this upcoming year for 2023, they got a very good chance of being back at the top, winning the Constructors and winning the Drivers' Championship, no doubt about it. The second big move for Mercedes is Ricciardo to Mercedes as a reserve driver next year. The news that Van Dorn is heading to Aston Martin means that Ricciardo will be almost certainly at Mercedes next year as a reserve driver, replacing Nick de Vries, who will be departing to AlphaTauri. As it stands, the Australian will not be driving a car next season after McLaren decided to recruit Oscar Piastri. While he will leave McLaren team at the end of the 2022 season following an amicable breach of contract with his employer over poor performance, Daniel Ricciardo finds himself at a dead end in the driver market, with only one seat still available for 2023 at Haas. But the Australian veteran admitted this weekend that he had turned down said offer from Haas already. Indeed, 2009 world champion Jenson Button doubted Daniel Ricciardo will be able to return to the F1 grid in 2024 if he is not driving for any team in 2023, saying he believed that Daniel Ricciardo did not want to go too far down the grid and work with a team that was too far back. Button thinks that Ricciardo should have taken a race seat at Haas rather than going on off for a year or a reserve driver role. It's difficult, but I still think it would have been a better decision for him. Go to a team, work hard, show people what you can do in a car that maybe suits you a bit more, and people will forget what happened the year before. That's the new problem now, because people forgot how good Ricciardo is just because he had a year and a half, 2 difficult years. But he has a talent, and in a car that suits him, he would show his talent, and then he would have the opportunity to race again and be at a top team. But to stay out of it, people will remember what happened the year before. It's tricky, and I find it hard to see him coming back to a competitive team after a year away. Ricciardo, on the other hand, disagrees. Ricciardo wants to join a top team and will be able to offer a front-running car. He had previously been linked to Red Bull to become the third driver, but Mercedes is a more likely destination. Honestly, being the third driver is where my head is at right now. I feel like some time away from a racing seat will do me good, and then I'll try to build something for 2024. Let's just say I'm not done with F1, but it will look a bit different. Ricciardo admitted last weekend. The lack of tempting offers is a blessing in disguise, according to Daniel Ricciardo. The former teammate Max Verstappen prefers to see the glass half full. Without a doubt, the last 2 years have been quite difficult, especially when you put a lot of effort into it and it doesn't come where you want it to go. I know the value of a summer break. Getting away gives you a different perspective. The way the seasons flow, it's pretty relentless, and you don't really get a chance to rebuild. Everyone's different, but I really think it's a blessing in disguise. By doing less, I'll get more out of it. And I think this is something fantastic to see from someone like Daniel Ricciardo. Will Lewis Hamilton leave and give Ricciardo a race seat? After what we talked about earlier, I don't really see that being a thing. However, when it comes to this, Toto Wolff had this to say. It's 100% his seat. We definitely want to finish this season and then find someone calm over the winner like we did last year. He is much more than a driver for us now, Wolff said in Mexico City last weekend. That said, Wolff has been burned before by drivers suddenly leaving the team, namely when the 2016 champion Nico Rosberg suddenly left in the winter before the 2017 winter testing started, prompting the late signing of Valtteri Bottas. So having a race winner in reserve would be a card for the Austrian team boss would enjoy having. Wolff also admits that Hamilton staying with the team might not mean racing. Although we are not talking about the end of his racing career just yet, it is also important to talk about his role as an ambassador for Mercedes and the money sponsors we have and the involvement we can have in a wider universe. Ricciardo will be placed to take the seat should Hamilton step down from a driving role for Mercedes, and with Van Dorn's move to Aston Martin announced today, the path is most certainly set for Ricciardo's announcement to the German marquee. And I think this is honestly going to be fantastic for both sides, so definitely watch out for Red Bull next season. Now, the third big move is that a race win would prove Mercedes are back in the fight at the front, Wolff said. Achieving a race victory before the end of the 2022 season would prove that Mercedes were back in the fight at the front, says team principal Toto Wolff. Last team's Constructors champions Mercedes have so far failed to win a race in 2022 after struggling for the performance with their W13 car compared to rivals Red Bull and Ferrari. Now, on top of all this, Wolff says that they have been in contention for the victory in the last 2 rounds, breaking through and claiming a win would be a major psychological boost to the team. And I completely do agree with this that they are getting closer and closer. The win would be proof that our car is back to fight for wins, Wolff said. P2 could also be because the others dropped the ball and were just scoring more points. The thing is, we are racers at the moment. We can kind of see it in front of us. We just want to grab it, and therefore there's always a sense of frustration. We've come from such a long way, and here we are racing for a win. We are racing for both cars on the podium. Ferraris are behind us, so you need to stay humble about what we've achieved, while still reaching for the stars. So I think this is honestly super important, and it's going to be exciting to see what Mercedes bring out next year, because I think there is a lot of potential for them to continue to grow and win another Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace!